Good morning, everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. It's a game night. Well, Thursday, very odd feel to it, but it's a big one. The Eagles and Commanders tonight with first place in the division at stake. And I'm pretty confident about the Eagles in this game. And the reason I'm confident, there are two reasons, really. One is I don't think that Washington is prepared for a game this big in their growing up phase. And also, I think they had a lot rougher game on Sunday than the Eagles did. So I think the bounce-back factor is very important. The home game factor is very important. The place will be lit up tonight. I'm pretty confident that the Eagles take a dub here and cover. But we'll talk about it because there's a lot of stuff that we have to go over today with this game. And the matchups, we're going to see a pretty good quarterback tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was reading a stat here that as good as the Eagles' defense has been, this is like a chat room with some athletic guys, right? Now, I don't know whether this guy has an agenda or not, but I'll just read what he has to say. The Eagles' pass defense is legit, but it also helps when 33% of their games have come against Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, and Cooper Rush. If you remove those three contests, the Eagles' 220 passing yards allowed per game would rank 23rd in the league. We're talking about how great the secondary is. Let me go to Mr. Football here. Mr. Touchdown. Bill Colarulo in the house. Of course, along with Ray Dunn. Bill, how does that make you feel, that little statistic?
It's an important one, but you can only play who's on your schedule. We know that old cliche. And it's not as if the Philadelphia Eagles defense is just squeaking by these teams. They're doing things that are historic in what they're doing. And, yeah, Daniel Jones, not a good quarterback. Deshaun Watson, not a good quarterback. I think Joe Burrow's a pretty damn good quarterback. And this defense had no problems against him. So you can only play who's on your schedule. And I see people consistently saying that, right? The Eagles haven't played anybody. Eagles haven't played anybody. Just take a look at who Washington's played. Have you taken a look at who their 7 wins are against? Because they've played Daniel Jones twice.
Yeah.
They beat the Bengals. They beat the Cleveland Browns. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They barely beat the Chicago Bears. The only team that the Commanders have beaten with a winning record was the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. So you look at the winning percentage of the teams the Commanders have beaten, it's .318. It's actually less than the .328 winning percentage of the Eagles' opponents. So you're going to learn a lot tonight. I'm excited. It's fun that you have an NFC East opponent that's 7-3. The game matters. But I'm not worried about, look at who the Eagles have played because they're dominating.
All right, let's just go over a couple things. This chat, I don't know, the guy who's writing this, his name is Saad Yousuf. Has he covered the Commanders for the Athletic? Do we know? I don't know who this guy is, but it's a 4-way chat with people that cover the team. So Brooks Cabina, who covers, this is the Athletic staff. He covers the Eagles. Dan Duggan, Ben Standing, all these guys cover every one of the teams. So Saad is the Cowboys guy. All right, well, then that's legit. So anyway, the Eagles enter this game, the second-ranked defense in yards allowed per game. The Commanders enter with the 4th-ranked offense in average yards gained. And one of the things that we're looking at is the return of a couple of important players for the Commanders. They're going to get their right tackle back. And also Brian Robinson, who didn't play last week, was banged up, will be back in this one. So one of the writers says, with Robinson back, I'll give the edge to the Commanders' offense. The Commanders have such a diverse attack. Robinson's ability to grind yards between the tackles, a creative screen game that gashes defense, a true number 1 wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, and Daniel's magic with his legs. I give the edge to the Commanders, the guy goes. And you're not buying. Look at Bill's smirking. Like, yeah, come on, that's false praise.
Well, look, I get that the Eagles haven't played anybody, but this defense is flying around. They've really looked good, Mike. And this is going to be a great test, and I think a lot of people maybe will understand how good this Eagles defense is, but they are a really good defense. And, yeah, the Commanders have a great offense. You're right. They're sitting there top 4 in total offense, top 3 in points scored, and they've run the football pretty efficiently. They have the number 4 rushing offense in the NFL. But what have the Eagles done really well?
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. Listen, I think they're a better team than the Commanders right now. I don't know how it's going to shake out at the end. I think the Eagles are on a better roll. And I think the timing is right. The fact that they didn't play in the fourth quarter was very beneficial to them, I think, as far as coming fresh into this game. Well, that other team had to really stress it out. That matters to me normally, especially with just 3 days between games. And of course, you haven't mentioned that the Eagles apparently right now have an edge in coaching. and so to reinforce that point, can we go to the great sage Fletcher Cox, who was on, Ray, what was he on?
Kay Adams, Up and Adams show.
Oh, the Up and Adams show.
Yep, Fletcher Cox.
So Fletcher Cox is sounding off, and one of the things he talked about was the brilliance of one Nick Sirianni. Let's hear it.
Let's look at Nick's history. What he got? Playoffs, Super Bowl, playoffs. I mean, all he does is win, right? He find a way. And, with a coach like that, that can rally up a team of men and do what he's doing every year in and year out. Even with swapping coordinators the last 2 years, the way that things have been going, they're finding ways to win. And I think, this team could get scary in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
As it get cold, they can run the ball really good. And he always said, and always from every coach, teams that can run the ball in November, December when it gets cold, those are teams that can go deep into it. But I know he's taking these guys one game at a time and, one team at a time. But I got nothing but respect for Nick, since day one.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Mike? Something we've been saying a lot on this show.
Of course, Kay Adams had to throw in there. Yeah. They throw in a little guest glossing, I call it. Yeah, but in any event, there you go. Fletch on board. Wasn't Fletch disgruntled at one point by his usage under Sirianni?
Yeah, but I think that was more about the way Gannon was using him
the coordinator
before. But
yeah.
Look, Fletcher Cox is a guy who played under Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson, now Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
And he's saying exactly what I have been saying. All this guy does is win. Doesn't matter that they've changed coordinators almost every single season since he's been here. What's been the constant? The head coach, they keep winning. And he gives you his resume. Playoffs, Super Bowl appearance, playoffs. And now they're on track for the fourth straight year. Going to the playoffs under Nick Sirianni. This guy is a good coach, man. He brings the team together.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here because you get so syrupy that I can't take it.
Syrupy.
They're in first place. When they asked the question about Nick Sirianni, what's he supposed to say? Like, he's riding high right now. So, like, what he said, that has to be said. He can't say, well, I don't know about the Sirianni guy. They're in first place.
He went on for a while there. How long was that clip, Ray? That was almost a minute clip of him praising our head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, you can't deny the record, Mike.
Yes, I can.
You can't deny how good this guy is.
Anything I want.
And then, an article dropped this morning about our head coach, Nick Sirianni, from Tim McManus, who will be joining the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
You saw this article.
Yeah, I saw it. Here's what I saw. That the coach couldn't figure out what the offensive linemen figured out. That they'd be a better team if they ran the football.
No.
So 3 offensive linemen barge into his office and go, "Hey, idiot, we got to play this way."
No.
Basically, that's what I got from the story. Ray, how about you? Did you get that from that story?
I'll be honest with you.
Stop.
I see this one kind of on Bill's side.
Oh, Ray's with me. So, hold on. So the people understand
hold
what
on
we're
a second.
talking about here.
So this is what was after the game? Like, what was it? When was it?
It was after the loss
to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was during the bye week.
After the loss to Tampa Bay, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and Landon Dickerson knock on the door. Hey, can we talk? Yeah, come sit down, Sirianni says. And so it was just reminding him that you have weapons in the air, on the ground. You have a hell of an offensive line. We wanted to lead with, hey, before Saquon got here, you had us. Now you have us in Saquon. So use it! That's what basically they said.
See, you look at it.
He didn't figure it out that way. They figured it out.
You look at it in a cynical way
course I
that, oh, the offensive lineman had to go in and tell their coach this is the way we should do it. I look at it as this is a really good head coach. This is a head coach that's got an open door where his players feel comfortable coming to him and giving him some things that they've noticed, how they feel about the offense. And instead of just either not talking to them at all or dismissing them and having this mightier than thou mentality, he takes what they say. He goes to Kellen Moore and the offensive staff and says, hey, look, maybe we should be a little bit more run heavy, and look at the success they've had. I think this is a quality in a head coach.
It's great, yeah, except he didn't ponder it until they told him. So, like in a quiet moment, he could have pondered the same thing. Listen, I'm only playing the other side because sometimes I get a little crazy when you constantly tickle Nick Sirianni's butt hairs. So I have to add some kind of counterbalance to it.
I like winning, man. That's all I'm saying is I like winning. And people, there it is, Ray. Drop it. Drop it.
All right, we'll talk about it. I want to hear your analytical approach to the game. I'm talking about the listeners and the texters at 610-632-0975. What are you feeling about this game? We're all confident here they're going to win the game. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show, and we're off and running.